Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This is Simply Forest, and in the last episode we got the Megaton Hammer, and I was also talking about a whole bunch of stories from my past that were honestly fun. It felt like half stories, so if you tuned with me over all that, thanks for the patience. I'm going to try not to talk so much about stuff like that in this episode. Not that I have a problem talking about some things in my personal life, but I know it's not what everybody cares to hear for in Let's Plays sometimes. But I don't know, I've always kind of considered Let's Plays to be this kind of... to be kind of synonymous with, like, hanging out with people and just, you know, shooting the shit and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't know, maybe one day I'll start talking about... You know, I'll start being less vague and being more specific with these stories, but, you know, I just never want to, like, call anybody out or anything like that, even if, you know, they did fuck me over, but I don't know. Anyway, so we're almost done freeing all these Gorons. We don't really have that many left to free. That might have actually been the last one. Well, no, there's that one that has the boss key that we still need to do. So here's that Song of Time block I was mentioning in the last one. And then, is this when we... Yeah, so this part here actually goes down to where Darunia was. That very first hint, you gotta find a way to pound that pillar in the ceiling down. Well, we just did it, but we still don't have the boss key, so on we go. I didn't really explain it because I wasn't explaining jack shit in the last episode, but the Megaton Hammer lets us move these statues that are pretty much only found here. I think there's one in the Gerudo Training Grounds and one in Ganon's castle as well. You can basically knock these out of the way. And there's a door. That's where we'll use our last key on. I think this is one of those rooms where you have to defeat everything in it too. Something else cool you can do with the Megaton Hammer is pound the ground, and these guys flip over. Yeah, those guys always drop magic too, by the way, so... Not that I think Din's Fire would have much of an effect on them. Well, you know what? I've never really tried it before. I guess for the sake of experimenting, we could do that. Will Din's Fire hurt these guys? Or will we just, like, light them up again or something? Wow, they got hurt a lot by that. Well, they got hit a lot. It appears they weren't hurt at all, though. So, I guess, you know, Din's Fire isn't really useful there. So I'm not really sure why they drop magic then. Usually when someone drops magic, you'd think, you know, you would be using magic to defeat them, or you would need magic, but I don't know. I guess that's one of the things that I'm just thinking a little too hard about. I remember those, enemies in, what was it? The Ice Palace in A Link to the Past, the penguin guys that slid, they dropped magic a lot. But, you know, that helped out because I was actually using, you know, Bombos Medallion. 60 fucking rupee! I'm sorry for the language, just like that. But, holy hell, I've never seen them drop 3 red rupees before. That's a lot. And we got every sculpture in the Fire Temple. So, that's good. And we gotta defeat another one of these guys here. So, pull him off. Actually, I think the Megaton Hammer can stun this guy too. Or, maybe not. Megaton Hammer is a two-handed weapon, so you can't use your shield with it. Still jump with it, though. I don't know if it does, like, twice the damage or whatever, but it'd be interesting to find out. I wish a Zelda game had, like, a practice dummy where you can, you know, use all your different items on it and you can actually see how much damage it's doing. And I've never noticed before, but I can see, like, little eyes on the very top of that. I thought this was just, like, a weird black bomb with legs running around. There's like a little dude in there. Oh, it's so cool. I've never ever noticed that before. And it's weird that I'm noticing it here on, like, the smallest size of screen I've ever played this game on. Man, I wish the Elgato video capture would let me, like, full screen this, but I don't know. I still gotta get around to, like, practicing more with Windows, with, not Windows Movie Maker, but with, Sony Vegas. You know, I went and bought it around the time I did the Donkey Kong Let's Play, and I did the first episode in that, and I don't know, it just gave me, like, a lot of trouble with, like, the video and the sound syncing up. I think I talked about it a little bit in, that Let's Play. But then, like, when all was said and done, when I finally finished it and got it how I wanted it to be, it took, like, 5 hours to render, and I was like, holy crap, that's a lot. And I was looking it up, and it's like, is this supposed to take that long? It's like, well, yeah, I mean, you're rendering every single frame, and I'm like, well, why does Windows Movie Maker do it in, like, 10 minutes then? Because isn't that also rendering the video? And I never found, like, an answer for that. If anybody has an answer for that, please let me know. I'm very curious. But then, to just kind of rub salt in the wound, the video itself was like a really big file, and it ran horribly. It dropped so many frames. It was just, I was so disappointed with the quality, and it's like, I don't think it's a Sony Vegas problem. Because, like, I've seen a lot of people that I watch on YouTube use Sony Vegas. I don't know, maybe my computer is not powerful enough to really take advantage of it. Because, like, the main thing I wanted to do with it was because it will let me, like, overlay pictures in. So, like, every now and again when I'm talking about something and just want to add, like, an image, I'd like to be able to do that. But, you know, I guess until I figure out what's, like, going on with that, or have more experience, you know, doing that on my own, I'm just gonna stick with Windows Movie Maker for a while. I don't know, I'm open to suggestions. I mean, don't know everything about video editing at all. I'm still learning a lot, so if anybody, like, you know, could offer some advice about, like, what maybe went wrong with that Sony Vegas experience, please, by all means, let me know. Because, like, I guess I don't really have a problem with Windows Movie Maker right now, but I know Sony Vegas has a lot more options where I can get, like, a lot more creative with stuff. I will help Big Brother. And what's in this mysterious chest? I don't even know how I would possibly know. The boss key? Oh my god! You don't get boss keys just from any chest. It's like, I don't even know why they give you a special chest for the boss key, because it's like, you know what it is. I feel like Majora's Mask... oh, that's the wrong... I entered the wrong room. Majora's Mask does it a little bit better, because I feel like a lot of the boss keys are just behind, like, a really fancy room, and it kind of, like, builds up the hype for getting it. I mean, they have, like, the fancy chest in this game too, but it's always in, like, a random spot. I mean, I guess except for maybe this temple, where you're teased at it with it from, like, the beginning. And it's, you know, something you have in your head that you can return to. But anyway, Darunia, where did you go? Well, he's not here. I remember this boss gave me such a hard time, and, well, I don't know if he gave me a hard time or not, but I did... Did I die here? I must have died here. Not like a death, but like a death and then been revived by a fairy. Because I think Volvagia can actually do 3 hearts of damage to you. So when you're doing a 3-heart run, that's pretty much an instant, death. I also read recently that, like, Link had Volvagia as a pet in the Ocarina of Time manga. Now, like, the Zelda manga and stuff like that, I mean, I don't consider them canon with the games. I mean, I don't know if anyone really does, but, you know, that just kind of goes back to my thing where it's like, you can't have, like, multiple mediums telling you something about something and having both of them be equal weighted. I guess that was, like, one of my main problems with GU, where it's like, you can't tell me the GU manga and the video games are both correct when one you spent an extremely longer amount of time on, and the other one honestly feels like more of like a fan interpretation project. Uh-oh. I think I'm gonna get that potion now. Drink up. So, I don't know. I don't know what I've never actually read any of the Zelda mangas. I'd kind of like to, just to see what they're like, but, I mean... You know, if I see somebody say something like, Volvagia is actually Link's pet, it's so tragic that you're killing him at this point in the game, I'm like, well, that was never really established in the game. That was in a completely separate, outside source that, you know... It's just, I don't even know if it's canon or not. Like, I remember people were saying stuff about the Happy Mask salesman and Majora's Mask, and I mean, he's definitely hinted at being, you know, pretty creepy and stuff like that. And, you know, maybe even not, like, a good guy, but nothing was ever outright, like, stated. But I guess there's some part in Majora's Mask where, like, Link's the fierce deity, and he calls, like, the mask salesman, like, an interloper or something like that. Or I don't know, I forget exactly what it was, but I don't know. I guess the impression I kind of got was like the Majora's Mask was like a bad, not Majora's Mask, the Happy Mask salesman in Majora's Mask was like a bad guy, so I don't know. Yeah, I really should just like pick those books up one time. I should maybe even see if I can get them from the library. I haven't been to the library in a really long time. I haven't been reading a lot in a couple of years. I used to read so much more often, but I don't know. Like, I read a lot as a kid, and I really liked doing that as a kid. You know, I don't really remember a whole lot of what I read as a kid, just like random books I got from the library. You know, I guess Goosebumps is the thing I would remember the most, but like, I couldn't tell you like the plots of any of the book to save my life. I just remember the covers. Yeah, then sometime in high school, just like high school really made reading not fun. Like, it really made reading not fun at all. I was not at a good point in my life where the only thing I was reading had to be extensively tested and quizzed upon for things like analysis and metaphors and what does this mean and what does that mean, for books that I honestly couldn't even really understand all that well, just because they were written like 40, 30, 50 years ago. And I don't know, it's just it just doesn't like translate well to like modern language. You definitely got to be a little older to have an appreciation for stuff like that, and even so, you know, sometimes all that really is what it is, an appreciation, not like an actual enjoyment. But then I rediscovered reading in college, and I loved it, and I guess that was just part of the package when you were in creative writing. But for a few years after that, I was reading all the time, and then after a while, I felt like I was just reading so much stuff that I couldn't stand. And on top of which, I was writing a review for pretty much like every book I read, too, just to like try to keep up, you know, some aspect of my writing life, because the fiction writing wasn't really going anywhere at all. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, I started reading graphic novels again, and ever since then it's just been, that's pretty much what I've been mostly reading, is just like comics and graphic novels, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, I do miss reading actual like novels and stuff like that too. I stopped at this bookstore last night after I went to the event at the college and picked up like a $5 book on Chinese mythology. You know, I don't really know if I'll read it or how much I really cared to get it, but it was only $5, and considering that story from the other day about how, you know, the Barnes & Noble that I really liked is closing now too, you know, I figured now more than ever, probably a good time to support a local bookstore. So thank you, brother. I really appreciate what you did. I thank you on behalf of the entire Goron race. You turned out to be a real man, just as I thought you would. By the way, I, the wild Darunia, turned out to be the great sage of fire. Isn't that funny, brother? Well, this must be what they call destiny. Nothing has made me happier than helping you seal the evil here. Hey, brother, take this. This is a medallion that contains the power of the fire spirits and my friendship. You know, I know the medallions were originally supposed to be items you can use. But even if that couldn't work, it would have been cool if these medallions did something more to actually make you more powerful. Like, maybe one of the medallions can up your attack. Maybe one of the medallions can up your defense. Maybe one of the medallions can make you run a little faster. Just little things like that. Because, like, these medallions really are just, like, so boring. I hate to say it, but I really feel like the spiritual stones, they felt grander and they looked cooler, but the medallions just kind of suck. It's like, oh, this person you once knew can no longer exist now in your world because they have to wait in this room so they can seal Ganondorf away. Oh well. So, Darunia is dead, or missing, or whatever. You know, I can't even remember the last time I talked to his actual son, but Megaton Hammer is one of those items in a Zelda game that kinda isn't used past its dungeon very often. You can still use it as a weapon and everything, but I honestly don't know what you would really use it for outside of, you know, using your sword. But you can break these brown rocks, which you will find periodically. Sometimes there'll be grottos underneath. The most important thing in the entire world is probably behind these two, because you have a Great Fairies Fountain, and they give you one of the more useful power-ups in the game, which I could also say could have easily just been something that the medallions granted you. In fact, I didn't even think about this until now. There are 6 Great Fairies and 6 medallions. Maybe the prizes from the Great Fairies were originally going to be... Well, no, because medallions were actually going to be items that had a use, so... I don't know. I'm just saying. Medallions could have been a little cooler in this game. But this power here is probably my favorite, because it doubles your magic meter. Not that you've been using magic that much in the game until now anyway, unless you've been using Din's Fire a lot, but... You know, second half of the Adult Link quest, I feel like you are starting to use magic more, and it does help a lot to have that second magic meter. In fact, I don't even know if you can beat the first phase of Ganondorf without the double magic meter. Well, no, you could. You just, you know... You need a green potion or a blue potion, but that looks a lot better. I like having that bar as long as your health underneath you. So, that's it for now in Death Mountain Crater. However, one thing I want to bring up is you can jump over here, climb up this ladder, and all of a sudden you're at the top of, you know, the Death Mountain Crater. Like where you would arrive when you were a kid. Not there, but over here. So that's a little hint of the shortcut I have planned for getting the big Goron sword. Because we're just right at the top of Death Mountain now. And if you come over here, there's this gigantic Goron. He's so big. Like, holy cow, why are you so big? And he's upset about something. My brother opened a new store. It's Goron's Blade Store. However, I am better at making blades. Hylian carpenters praise me for my skills. I'm not lying. Yeah, I know you're not, because we had a guy there that said you're big. Well, no, maybe you are lying, because here's a broken weapon. Didn't you say they praise you for your skills? Why is this broken? That broken knife is surely my work. I really want to repair it, but because of yesterday's eruption, my eyes are irritated. There are fine eye drops in Zora's domain. You will find them if you go see King Zora. Please go get the eye drops. Yeah, sure. And he gives you a prescription for eye drops, which I think is hilarious, because it's like, this thing must be so tiny, how could you possibly pick it up with your gigantic hands? But we'll be going there afterwards. Kind of want to just stop in Goron City before we call it a video. But, yeah. That voice I was doing, I'm pretty sure that was the voice I do when I quote Guru from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Dang, dude, I just saw that update video. It will be like a year before Boo. Like, I don't want to sound entitled. I know Team 4-Star does a lot of stuff nowadays, but... goddamn, dude, I feel like we kind of waited a year just for the 3 episodes of the Cell games, but, I mean... it's free content on the internet, I shouldn't really complain about it. It's just, I think Dragon Ball Z Abridged is so good, and it's just... It sucks that it's like... well, wait full night, because I might have a Skulltula to get in here. It just sucks you have to wait such a long time for it. But, I don't know. That's just me. Dragon Ball Z Abridged actually got me back into watching regular Dragon Ball Z. I was borrowing the series. My friend has the whole series, and I was borrowing it from him. But, I don't know, I haven't borrowed any from him in a while. So, I gotta get back on that. I stopped at the Cell games, actually, too. No, I wanted to go this way. So, I definitely want to, definitely want to get back and watch the Boo series before the Dragon Ball Z Abridged starts for Boo. Because there were a lot of things that I kind of forgot about in Dragon Ball Z that I kind of wish I had more knowledge of when I, went back to watch the series. We can just blow all these boulders up without even using bombs. Just break them all. Yeah, I don't know. It started out with me just borrowing Dragon Ball, which I had never seen the entirety of. I watched Dragon Ball when it was on Toonami. That, whenever it aired there. I think I was in middle school when it was airing. I think there's 200 rupees in here. I think that's what it was. Yep. So I can't remember if I got the gold Skulltula in here when I was a kid, or if there was maybe another one when I'm an adult. But let me just try, just in case. Yeah, I don't know, I ended up liking it so much that I actually went back and, yeah, I did get it. I actually went back and picked up, over the course of the past year, all of the Dragon Ball full color books for the Saiyan and Frieza sagas. And it's a shame, because I think they're not going to be releasing them for the rest of the series, because I was kind of getting excited to actually owning Dragon Ball Z in some form. Even though it was, like, just through the manga, but still. But, anyway. I don't know. I don't know what else to really do in this episode, and we're on time, so... I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do next time. Maybe we can finish off the big pose before going into, Zora's domain. Trying to think of other side quests we can do right now. Yeah, that stretching felt pretty good just watching you do it, Link. I'm gonna go stretch myself. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.